have never been a parent who has signed my kid up for every single sport or every lesson or participated in every holiday event. And this is not because I don't care, but it's because I could see early on that one, it's not realistic and it doesn't look enjoyable and it doesn't leave room for connection. I see a lot of parents who get caught in that trap of constantly running around, constantly hustling, and that over schedule, just trying to keep up with schoolwork, with activities, and running around, not being able to sit down and have dinner. And if that sounds like you, I want you to hear this. I want to remind you, I want to tell you that doing less is not failing. It's actually giving your kids and yourself more connection, more freedom, and more room to breathe. And I have learned this throughout my parenting journey. Just in life, I've always been fairly minimalistic and simple in my daily living. But more recently, in the last 2 years, my children and I live in a tiny house, a 34-foot long tiny house, and learned a lot. I have learned a lot about more simple style of living through living in a small space. And stay tuned because at the end of this video, I will connect a link so you can see a tour of my tiny house. So you don't want to miss that. I'm Julie Cornish, and I'm the founder of the Rewired Parent, a place where we are changing our parenting, transforming our parenting from the inside out. And today we're going to talk about that pressure that parents are feeling today about around feeling the need to have our kids in every single activity, having a tutor, playing soccer, playing a musical instrument, all of these different things that we have our kids involved in, and these very overfilled, jam-packed schedules where they're not leaving room for connection. And we live in a culture that tells us that good parenting looks like a very packed schedule where every square of our calendar is filled up with classes, commitments. But it turns out, and we probably intuitive parenting looks like a very packed schedule where for kids, it's linked to anxiety, it's sleep problem, emotional exhaustion, and experts are now saying that it can be as harmful as too much screen time. So if you're feeling guilty because you aren't signing your kids up for everything, well, I can relieve your guilt there. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by all of the things that your kids are signed up for, then this is a permission slip to cut some of them out. If your kid's not loving soccer and you're sick of sitting in the rain, it's time for it to go. When you simplify your schedule, you're actually giving your children and yourself something very valuable. You're giving them and yourself time, space, and freedom. When kids have that unstructured time, their creativity flourishes. When kids are bored, their imagination grows. It builds problem solving and it helps to support emotional growth. So really, by reducing your schedule, you're doing your children a favor that will last them a lifetime. When kids aren't being shuttled around from one activity to the next, they discover more about who they are without being constantly directed. And the same goes for parents. When our schedules are overflowing, our stress is overflowing and the kids pick that up. Simplifying is not just for ourselves, it benefits our kids as well. And I said earlier, the last couple of years, the kids and I have been living in a tiny house. We live on the same property as their dad. So we have two houses. We split the kids 50-50. So they're over there part of the time. Most of the nights they're over here. But we have learned a lot about simplifying our schedule and the clutter and the things around our home. And I've really enjoyed that experience. And not only that, my personal favorite part about having a tiny house is how quickly I can get my house cleaned. If that is the only reason I live in a tiny house, because I can get the house cleaned in no time at all. And The benefit of a small space, and obviously, I'm not asking you to sell your house and live in a tiny house. It's not for everybody. I have always been the kind of person who is a bit more minimalistic and enjoys a small space. It is calming for my mind when I have too much um, things on my plate. I get overwhelmed. There's too much to clean, too much to do. I have a hard time deciding what I need to do. So I've always enjoyed a smaller space. It feels more simple and easy to manage. It also requires you to be intentional with what you're bringing into your home. You can't have five hobbies that you're not actually doing, right? You have a minimal amount of space to keep stuff. So each thing needs to be something that you're using regularly and it has a purpose. And there's a lot of things that work about living in a small space or simplifying your space. You get to have more closeness, there's more creativity, and there's that rhythm of connection over consumption, which I like. And of course, in a small space with two boys does have its downside. It gets loud, privacy can be tricky, and there's not always the amount of storage that I would like. But all of those things are easily overcome. And it has taught us a lot about flexibility and teamwork, which I value a lot. And honestly, the connection that we have gained living in a small space, I think is worth it. And you can have these benefits living wherever you're living, but simply looking around your space and choosing the things that are around you intentionally, being intentional when you're purchasing toys and things like that for the kids, things that are really going to last and that are going to enjoy for years to come. Not just those one and done toys that we buy because the kid says they can't live without them and then 2 hours later the toy is broken or thrown off to the side. That's always frustrating. So what can we start doing today, even if you don't live in a tiny house? You can choose fewer activities and you can be more intentional about the activities that you are choosing. You can ask yourself, is this activity feeding my child's joy? Or is it just filling the calendar? Or am I worried that if I don't put them in soccer practice, that they're not going to learn how to work with the team and then they're never going to succeed in life? I think as parents, we get a little bit caught up. We tell a story in our head about what's going to happen if we're not providing these experiences for our children. But in reality, the children can learn these ways of being in many different activities that doesn't require us to be putting them in every single sport and choosing things that really brings your child joy, benefits both your child and yourself. And I encourage you to leave room for boredom, for free play. It is not a waste of time. It's essential. It's valuable for your kids' growth and development, and simplifying your environment for free play. It is not a waste of time. It's a space, then adding more toys and things like that. So doing less doesn't mean doing less as a parent. It means you're doing what matters most. You're bringing in the things that are valuable, like connection with your child. If this resonated with you, you are not alone. So many parents are tired of that sense of pressure to do it all. And I just want to remind you that simplifying isn't failing. Simplifying is freedom. And you're going to gain more enjoyment and more connection with your family. So don't forget, at the end of this video, you can click on the link and you can see a full tour of our tiny house. It's not going to be long. And you can ask any questions you like about it, what it's like to live there in the comments of that video. And I hope that you enjoy that. And before I go, your growth matters, your healing matters, and you matter deeply. And I want you to keep showing up, keep doing the work because it truly matters. The work you're doing today is going to carry on for lifetimes for your children and their children. And if you would like to go deeper in the next month or so, I'm going to be starting a free membership, a conscious parenting membership where we can connect more deeply with like-minded parents, where you can work with me one-on-one or in a group, and that will be coming shortly. But more importantly, the most exciting thing for me is I'm going to be introducing the MAP method in the next couple of weeks. That is why I started this channel. It's what I'm passionate about. The first video, I'll explain what the MAP method is. And briefly here, it's a method that helps to rewire the brain, old patterns and habits. I used it for my parenting, but just for so many aspects of my life, it's been beneficial. So that will be coming soon, and I will include, after I tell you what it is, there'll be sessions on parenting guilt, anxiety, overwhelm with the calendar, and things like that. So if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe so you can be there when I get that going. So I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for showing up today, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.